Welcome to the Product of the 80's podcast. I'm your usual host, Black V, the one who tries to bring you informative, open, real, honest conversations and interviews so we all can walk away feeling like we learned something besides just laugh, kicks, and giggles and all those good things. Today, I am honored with a special, amazing, and beautiful special guest host, April Eileen. She is amazing, strong, independent woman who also has cut her teeth in the business world and working with all these large corporations. So today she's going to do her thing by talking to some other very beautiful, strong Black sisters out there who are building things. And April, I'm going to turn it over to you and I'm going to fade to the background and let you do your thing, okay?
Thank you, Jamar. Thanks. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. My name is April Eileen. I am the creator of a company called Life and Lovely Things, LLC. It is all about creating a love-centric world through love-centric women. And I am offering all sorts of services to that end. That includes content and coaching and brand strategy and events. And that's kind of the vision. I am privileged to be with two wonderful entrepreneurs. I believe I should actually learn a ton from, so I'm very excited to talk with both of them. The first one is Antonia Dillon. She and I go way back. She joined a mastermind of mine a few years ago, and we've had a great relationship since then. She is what she calls a serial entrepreneur. So she started a number of businesses herself, also has a background in market research, and has done lots of wonderful things. And now she coaches other entrepreneurs. So what a great guest to have to talk about entrepreneurship. I've also just met Shantae, and she offers all sorts of wonderful services to the developmentally disabled, which I think is such wonderful, great, heartfelt work in the world. So I'm excited to talk to both of you. Why don't you share a little bit more about your businesses? And I will start with you, Antonia.
Thank you so much. Hey, everyone. I'm Antonia Dillon, serial entrepreneur, really a serial idea getter. Get an idea and I just kind of run with it. But I am a 3-time founder and currently an entrepreneur coach. I coach busy women who want to start and build and grow businesses. That's pretty much as simple as my message gets. Yes, thank you, April. Prior to that, I have a marketing background, so I think a corporate marketing background. So there are pieces of that work really well in my entrepreneurial journey. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here and talk a little bit more about businesses, starting businesses, growing businesses, acquiring customers. That's really where my sweet spot is.
Yay. How about you, Shantae?
My turn? Okay. Well, my name is Shantae, and I own an agency called G&M Healthcare Services. What we do is we service individuals who are developmentally disabled or disabled in any type of form. And we also work with the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. So we deal with the mentally ill and addiction services as well. We are licensed in adult day services, homemaker personal care, respite, non-medical transportation, and a few other things. It's like we're pretty much like 5 businesses in one. But our target is to help enhance the lives of people who are disabled. Whereas if they didn't have these caregivers, they wouldn't be able to get the quality of life that they get. They need a little bit of help, and we're there to assist them with that. Prior to me going into business for myself, I have a degree in social work. I'm a licensed social worker, and I have a case management background. I worked at every single hospital in this area, from Toledo, Flower, Bay Park, St. Louis, you name it. So I've done hospital social work, discharge planning, all that good stuff. So I have a medical background as well as case management and all that. So yeah.
All right, so here's my first question based on everything that I've heard you guys say. I know, Antonio, have a background in market research. I have a background in corporate marketing. It sounds like, Shantae, you were like doing the social work thing and educated and could have gotten a job pretty much anywhere and worked basically everywhere. What was it that made you guys decide you wanted to go into the entrepreneurship realm? Because you could have been successful, it sounds like both of you, working for someone else.
And was successful. I mean, I'll start. and go quickly, I climbed the ladder pretty quickly. I got into advertising research, advertising in general, and I was able to climb the ladder pretty quickly. I was switching jobs, but what I felt like every time I was changing and getting a new job, I was optimizing for something new, right? It was money, and then it was time, and then it was freedom, and then it was like, I don't like this boss. And every time I realized I was optimizing for something new, I realized that I really was not. Actually, I just really wasn't cut out for corporate. I wasn't cut out for corporate. I wasn't cut out for a salary ceiling. I wasn't cut out for being told, at the time, I mean, I'm older than I look. So, I have a lot of experience pre-pandemic. I have a lot of years pre-pandemic where you're expected to be at your desk or um accountable and tied to a desk from 8:30 to 5:30, and I knew that I could be productive and even more successful as an entrepreneur, and I didn't like being told what to do. I just
Exactly.
just, just I stopped liking being told what to do. But what I didn't know, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that, was how difficult the entrepreneurship road actually is. So I don't ever look down at anybody who works a corporate 9 to 5 or just like a typical job, because this life is not for everybody. And I pass no judgment whatsoever for folks who are like, that's just not for me. So that's the realization I came to.
I get it. Anything you
Okay.
want to add?
No, for me, it was just I was a case manager. I would have did it forever. Like I'm not even. That's the longest job I had. I got comfortable there. I think when I started, I was only making $36,000 a year. Didn't care because I was happy with what I was doing. Then we had Governor Kasich come along. Thank God for him. He pushed me into entrepreneurship because he changed our waiver and he streamlined it to where instead of me working with the elderly and the disabled that's elder and so forth, I was going to be working with the 18 to 65. Like I didn't have a population. We were just going to be working with children, 18, like it was going to be all over the place. We were going to be dealing with managed care organizations, which kind of contradicted what we're doing because the area office on aging is more or less like they're giving. They're very giving. They want to help. When we got paired up with managed care, that wasn't the case. I mean, it would be like, for an example, we have clients that would need things, and whether it's a walker, incontinence supplies, therapy, we had to go to an insurance company to get approval for this stuff that we didn't have to do before. Once he merged everything together, we had to get approval from insurance companies. I started seeing my consumers lack. Like they were going without a lot of stuff because we had to get the approval in which the insurance companies were not giving us this approval for the things they needed. I became frustrated. I did some research of my own. And basically I cut out the middleman. So I sat back and I'm like, I'm stressed. I'm every night I'm not sleeping because I don't know what my career holds for me because everything is changing and I just wasn't happy. And so I started to research and I seen I had a caseload of 80. And I
Wow.
knew that this company was making about $36,000 off of every client that I had on my caseload. So I know what I'm making for you guys. And I know that I'm complaining about all this weight being on me. And I'm supposed to work for 8 to 5, but I'm working 8 all day. Like I'm constantly working on the clock, off the clock. I can't get a break. And I was like, hey, I need to do my own thing. Let's cut out the middleman and have 5 clients and make $1 million if you cut out them. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it was about doing research and seeing that you guys are paying me out of 80 clients, 1 client is my salary for the year, and I was like, I'm putting in all this work for someone else. Why not build your own brand where you're appreciated? And yeah, so I just went on and went to do my own thing and did not look back. And I love it. It's a roller coaster, but I love it. I'm all for it. Every day is a different a different day. So I'm
Yeah.
here for it. I love it.
Now, you guys both, I heard you allude, both of you, to the sort of life of an entrepreneur and the roller coasters and the challenges. What have been some of the biggest challenges you've faced thus far?
Go ahead.
Okay. To be transparently honest with you, the biggest challenge I have had is being an African American woman in this role.
Mm.
I do not feel when I first got started, it was me and a cousin, and we just shared one client, and that one client was enough to cover what I had been making for a salary for someone else. So we took that on. No one ever expected that 5 years later we would be up to 30 employees, and we've turned it into, like, a very profitable agency. And as we grew, it was like, as we grew as an agency, I noticed there were so many barriers. Can you believe that we had capped to make $1 million in a year, and I couldn't even get a $10,000 line of credit with the 800 credit score?
Wow.
Like, and I'm like, what is the problem? Like, we have the funds on paper. And what I did was I linked up with this guy. He's a white guy, founder of the Ronald McDonald House. I love him. I won't say his name on here, but he is like, he's been my he's an older white man. So he can open up some doors that I can't open. But with us two together and him having a background in what I've been doing, he's been able to make so many things easier for me, because it is definitely a challenge. But I found that to be my biggest challenge. And it's mainly in the financial world. It was like, I couldn't believe it that we had been established. We had showed on paper that every year since we've been in business, we doubled our income.
Wow.
So as of why we couldn't get any financial assistance to like help us shoot up, it was mind blowing. But what I did, they just made me create my own line of credit. Now I don't need a bank. I don't need the bank for anything. And they call me. The banker knows my number, and they call, hey, Shantae, you need anything? Oh, now do I need anything?
Mm-hmm.
But before, you guys were skeptical. So that's probably been my biggest challenge. And then some of my own tearing me down a little bit. But yeah, other than that, as far as the business part of it, oh, I got that part nipped in the bud. It's been the social and the socioeconomic factors that's impacted me. So
That's
Love it.
unfortunate.
Yeah. Wow. Um, Love that you are able to be self-funded and now you don't need the bank. That's what I mean when
yeah.
I say I love it.
Yes.
For me, my biggest challenges have been all up here, all mindset, all head trash. Being an entrepreneur, so I didn't talk a whole lot about the businesses I founded. I founded an event planning company that eventually dissolved. I founded a very successful boutique storage startup, tech based. So that was completely different. It was something that I'm in the Detroit area, so it's something that's not being done in Detroit. Um, and at the time, it was brand new, totally different, and I had to have like irrational confidence and belief that it would work. And sometimes, some days, that irrational confidence and belief was hard to come by. So my biggest challenges have been getting over the stories that I tell myself. And as soon as I do that, as soon as I'm able to do that, the clients come, the money comes. It's all, a lot of what goes on in there. Your customers and your clients can feel when you're not confident in what it is that you're doing. So I did a lot of mindset work, especially in the beginning, and that's a lot of what I do as an entrepreneur coach too, is help work through some of the mindset blocks that can block people from making all the money that they are poised to make. So that's probably customer acquisition too, I would say. With benefit, my biggest issue was really nailing down a target market. That's probably why I am so fixated on it now as an entrepreneur coach. I think some businesses, maybe Shantae, like yours, you know exactly who you're going after. So that's
Mhm.
maybe that's not as prevalent. But there are some businesses that are like, I can help everybody, and it's like, no, you don't. You don't help everybody, and you can't help everybody. And now
Right.
you're talking to nobody. So I spend a lot of time, even now, working with clients on customer kind of avatar work and target, market. Who exactly are you talking to? Because every other decision that you make after that comes on the other side of knowing who it is that your target is.
You know what? I've got a question as I'm listening to the two of you. I am so like you, Antonia. My background's in corporate marketing, and I have found that for me, it was very easy to stay on the path. Right, like if you're making the good grades in undergrad and or in high school, then you go to college and make the good grades and stay on the path, and and do the thing. It's very prescribed for you. So stepping outside of that box and doing something on your own, I
Sure.
find is actually really challenging for someone who did well on the prescribed path. And
Mhm.
both of you seem very confident in your entrepreneurship and your business endeavors. And I'm just curious, is there something that you tell yourself every day? Do you wake up every morning to get over some of those? Like, how are you able to be so confident in what you're doing? Is there a trick to it? I mean, for somebody who may be a little bit unsure of themselves.
I would say you are the sum or the average of the 5 people that you spend most of your time with. So I would take a look at your, not you, to somebody else who I'm giving this advice to. I would take a look at your circle, right? Who are you feeding off of? Um, and what are they telling you? Are they telling you things like that's crazy, or I could never do that, or you're so brave, or when you start to hear stuff like that, you're like, am I brave? Like, am I crazy? Am I doing something crazy? Um, I have made it a habit to surround myself with people who are like, yes, you can do that. And why aren't you doing more? Yes, you can make $1 million this year. You could make two, like I think that's a part of it. But there are folks, gosh, I hope my dad never sees this, but like there are people like my dad who I love, but he's ultra conservative, right? Ultra conservative and just in life. So for me to start a business, of course, he's very supportive, but he's also like, I could never do that. Like, I'm going to work at the same company for 62 years and then I'm going to retire 50 years. I think he's been at his current company for 50 years. No joke. And he's like just getting ready to retire with his golden watch. And I'm like, I can't, that's not my life. So my advice is to look at the 5 people that are you're closest with and who's your cheerleader, who's cheering you on. I mean, it's part April of why I feel like our mastermind works so well. And why I find that I crave, we meet monthly for anybody who doesn't know. And I feel like I find myself craving that meeting because I need those voices and that support system. So that would be my advice.
Great advice.
With me, I would definitely, your advice is awesome. You have to surround yourself around people that are open-minded, people who will not try to, cap you. And you have to be okay with letting some people, move on, or like, you may be going in one direction, they may be going in the other. I think life prepared me for where I am today. My last day, I think when I was at the area office on aging, I had been there for 6 years, and that was my longest working relationship. My grandmother used to say I changed jobs like I changed underwear, because I was always doing something different. I never got stuck, and I got stuck there, and I was comfortable, and it was just like, well, this is what you were supposed to do. You went to college. This is your job, and you stay here. Because that's how my mother was. She worked for the hospital for umpteen years, well, for 30 years, until I got her to quit and come over and join our team. But I would definitely go with what she said. So surround yourself around people who will allow you to level up, because I found myself stagnant at a point in time because it was a specific person where when I would open up to this person about my goals, they would look at me like, what? Like, you tripping, and I didn't, and what you don't realize is that even though you may know, like, well, I should still do this, what they said will still influence you and affect you. So I say definitely surround yourself around people. I like to be around people who have more than me, or they're reaching higher. I want you to say something that everybody else would think is outrageous, or a goal that's outrageous, and let's try to tackle it. So I'm with you there. And every day I get up, it's not always that same confidence. It's days where I have to literally go in the bathroom and look myself in the mirror and be like, "Sis, you got this." Because I've had some challenging times, and as you elevate, people seem to think that you're not human anymore. Like, you're a business, you're a brand. They take the human part out of it. People scream, cuss, yell at you, all type of stuff from the customer service end. And sometimes you need that encouragement, just some self-talks and motivation for yourself. Cause I've had to do it a many a times to like, you got this. So yeah.
Just to go back to, they say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So
Exactly.
find a room where you're not the smartest, where you can contribute, but you're not necessarily the smartest person in the room.
Absolutely.
Honestly, first of all, thank you guys for being human. Like, I appreciate it's just good to know you're human. Like, I get into the mirror and I slap myself around. Like,
Yes.
kind of
Right.
I think that's great. The other thing is, it takes a certain amount of humility, I think, to say I want to be around people that are better than me, because a lot of people can be very intimidated by that. And I think it's just so wonderful that you guys have that sort of grounding and sense of self-confidence, enough of it that you can say something like that and really, you know what I mean? Like follow through and be with people that can help you move up. There's a very different approach to that, seriously. Cause I mean, a lot of people can't handle that kind of thing. They're like, oh, I feel intimidated, or it's making me feel a certain kind of way, or I'm not feeling good enough. And so I think it takes a certain amount of grounding even to go there, which is great.
Humility that's a good word. You're right. I mean, you do have to humble yourself a little bit. Especially, sorry, I'll just say this real fast. I'm a believer in learning from other entrepreneurs. Like I'm a believer in going out and doing the thing, but I'm also a believer in learning from other entrepreneurs too, who have been there, who have even Shantae, you were talking about this person who has helped you. Like obviously he has been able to help you because he has seen some things. So I'm a believer in learning from other people, and you do have to humble yourself a little bit and recognize that.
And just to write off of what you said about the humbling yourself part, when I first sat down with him and we had a conversation, I didn't know he was completely observing me just to tell me his thoughts in regards to me. And the way delivery is everything. Cause he said, Shantae, I want you to read this book. And I said, what's the book? He said, it's called No Ego by Cy Wakeman. He was like, get the audio books and just read it. I said, okay, gotcha. Listen to it. And I said, oh my God, he's talking about me. I'm like, but everything he is saying is true. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes you just have to park the ego, humble yourself, and you can learn so much. And just seeing it from the way he put it to me, and I'm listening to a story, but I'm plugging myself into this. And I'm like, yes, delivery and everything and how you deal with people, it all ties in together. So yes, absolutely. And I learned from him, and he is everything. Like we're complete opposites. I'm a woman. He's a man. I'm Black. He's white. I'm younger. He's older, but we are like very much in sync. And you don't come across genuine people too often where they just take the time out and do things for you. And so
right. That's true.
Love it.
I have a little mini story. I have somebody that coaches me for a few different things, but anyway, she's doing a mastermind, and y'all, she charges $22,000
for sure.
And it was just mind blowing to me because, and something that she said stuck out to me. She said she was talking to one of the people that is in the mastermind, and she said that she was telling her you can up level to this amount of money, and potentially per year or whatever it was. And she said the person was like, I didn't even realize that people made that kind of money. And it's just like being around people, like you were saying, that can expand your, you know what I mean, your views, your perspectives, what is possible, all of that probably was
for sure.
So I could see that. But I was blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, that's like per year or whatever it is.
For sure. What book was I reading? Or I can't remember which particular author. I think it was Bob Proctor, who's one of those like woo-y kind of guys. But anyway, he was talking about turning your annual salary into your monthly salary. And I was like, no way. Like, is that a thing? Do people do that? Oh my gosh. But yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I didn't think it was possible either.
Right. I mean, you just talked about one client replacing your entire
my whole salary. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's part of the mindset piece too, is knowing so often, I don't know, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of times we get into the scarcity mentality or this like,
True.
there's only so much to go around mentality. And it's like, the money is out here. Like the
Yeah,
money is flowing and we just have to get ballsy and go after it.
Yep,
exactly.
Mhm.
agreed. So I have a question. How do you guys stay self motivated and self driven without someone saying you have to go do the thing? Like, are you um is there something that you tell yourself? Like, how are you able to stay on task and not procrastinate and make sure you have a planner? Like, what's your what is your method of getting stuff done?
I
Do you
plug
want?
everything into my calendar. I like no matter what it is, even if let's just say I'm sitting here and some resumes come through Indeed or Zip Recruiter, to ensure myself that I do not forget because I have a million things on my plate, I literally will put that on my calendar for the next day. Check applicants from ZipRecruiter, print this off. It could be anything little. It may look like there's 1,000 things on my calendar, but these are things that I need to remember to follow up on. So I
Mhm.
use my calendar majority of the time to stay on top of everything. Brainstorm a lot, keep a lot of notes, keep a planner, all that good stuff. And I just and not in order to not stay stagnant because my business consultant did tell me that that businesses usually go out of business from not growing or HR related reasons.
Right.
So
Hmm.
I am big on us constantly growing, even if it makes my scheduler or the rest of the staff uncomfortable. I'm the one on the team, like, oh no, come on, we can take you, we can accommodate. My scheduler be looking at me like, no, we can't. I'll be like, yes, we can. We'll figure out a way. We'll hire some people. We'll do whatever, but we're not going to lower. We're going to always go up and up and up. That's the goal.
Nice. Nice.
So
I love it. I, yeah, all of the above, right? Like every tool, I'm still an analog girl. So while I do absolutely use my phone, I'm always taking notes in Evernote, which is, I'm not an affiliate, but that's my like favorite note taking app or just the regular notes app.
Yep.
I'm always plugging stuff into my calendar too, but I'm still an analog girl. So I keep a good old to-do list. Also writing things out helps kind of gel it in my brain for me. Um, Sundays. So yeah, today's Monday. Yesterday I literally went through my week and I just write out every appointment that I at least know of ahead of time, everything that I need to do. One thing that I've learned recently about myself is I will overload my to do. So if I say today is Monday, whatever, the 28th, um, and I want to do these 6 things, I I know I'm not going to do all 6 of those things. So I need to do and I've been working at doing a better job of prioritizing, maybe it's the 3 things I have to get done because my phone's going to keep ringing, my email's going to keep going. Like life is also going to happen around those things. So that's something that I'm still learning. Like I'm still learning about myself. I'm still learning about how I'm the most productive.
Yep.
But those are planners. Yep, all of it. To-do lists. My other favorite hack that I haven't used as often is plotting thing recently, but maybe I should go back to is plotting things on an urgent important matrix.
Mm.
So one axis is urgent, one axis is important, and then I'll write things that are really urgent and important there. And then
Yep.
the things that are, urgent but not really important, like emails or phone calls. I'll write those out, and that just helps me get a little organized in my brain too about what I need to focus on.
Good hacks, ladies. I wrote them all down.
Facts,
I'm like,
facts.
mm,
Shantae, I know you have employees, and Antonia, I know you did with your
Mhm.
storage business.
Mhm.
Um, Walk me through that whole thing. Like, how do you know, first of all, when you need employees, and how do you go about hiring them? What does that actual process look like?
I can start with the storage business. The storage and moving business, I always knew I would need employees. In my coaching, I don't right now, I'm solo. But with the storage business, I knew I would need employees because I'm not moving anything.
right.
So I used Indeed as well. I had great success, got a lot of great applicants. And actually, also, and this is not necessarily advice I would give to everybody, although I feel like Shantae, you talked about maybe a family member. No, I can't remember, but I
Mhm.
ended up hiring as my COO my cousin by marriage. I don't know that mixing like family and friends and business is
It's hard.
necessarily the advice that I would give to everybody. And I don't, yeah,
Mhm.
it's not always the right move for everyone. It ended up working out for me. So my COO was my cousin. Um, and then together we hired a whole staff of movers. The issue with my business, at least, is it's part-time work. So Shantae, I don't know about yours, but my work was part-time work. So I didn't always need, I didn't need movers all the time, 8 hours a day, every single day. So it was a mix of finding the right folks, the right movers, folks I trusted and knew were reliable, but also could be kind of called in on a dime or be able to come and service the clients
Yep.
quickly. So that was probably my biggest challenge with hiring.
Interesting.
Me hiring, yeah. Well, see, I have a very strict hiring process per the state. So
Mm.
we have to make sure that they have like a high school diploma or GED. We have to get a background check, which is a whole list of stuff that they couldn't have done before, like, any crimes. It's certain things that they can't be convicted of. We have to make sure they have CPR and first aid. We have to make sure they have an 8-hour training in the field, on top of other modules that they're trained on. So it's the whole, I literally have a chart. It's called a new hire checklist. So my office manager will make sure that they meet all the requirements. The background test, if they're going to do non-medical, non-transportation, we have to go make sure they have a physical and a drug screening. So my hiring process is a little bit harder. And to get people that are not scratched off the list because of all the different things that it require, and then the minimum reimbursement, because people that work in this field is going to make anywhere from, well, with us they're going to start off about $12 or $13 an hour. I know there are agencies that start off as low as 10. So it's not like it's a high paying field, but with this field you do get to sleep, so that's a plus. And we always put that in our hiring as like, you get paid to go to sleep. It is easy work. So we offer like sign-on bonuses, different. The county now has some different programs where we can offer them $1,000 towards tuition for pursuing their education and so forth. So we have different ways that we try to pull people in, but hiring is very difficult. Actually, the state is in a crisis right now with our field and the hiring. I run an overtime bill every week, at least like $100 to $200 that we're paying out in just overtime. Yeah. So, but now that this pandemic is starting to life is starting to be a little bit more normal. We're seeing the applicants they're coming back to work, because why come to work when you were getting $600 extra to stay at home and unemployment on top of the regular amount of unemployment, which is like 70% of their pay. So it was hurting small businesses, when they were giving out those incentives, the government, for COVID. So we took a loss. I mean, there was a point in time when I went from 27 DSPs down to 13. I filled in for my cousin, that's the scheduler, and I dealt with some things over that weekend that I felt was unacceptable. Like, you're not going to tell me, oh, I have a lash appointment, I'll be there in an hour. No.
What?
So literally, she came back to work and she was like, well, what happened to her? What happened to her? I said, oh, I fired her. And I went and got the client and I did it myself. I literally stepped in. I was firing everybody. And we dropped down to our lowest. I put some family members in on payroll because I know they were reliable until we got back up to where we needed to be. And now we're fine. But we did go through a hardship, and hiring is one of our greatest difficulties. I would say if I could get staff in this field and keep them in this field, I would be a billionaire. Like, literally.
Wow.
The staff is what holds you back, because you need other people in this business to help you run your business. So,
Right.
and they have to be decent people
Of
because
course.
this past year was a difficult year for me in this business, and it made me reflect to see if it was something I really wanted to even, continue to do. I lost a client that I had for years. So he passed away on us, and that was difficult for me because it's not the same as case management. This is a guy that I was seeing on a daily basis. And when he passed away, this was the first death that we had, and we were attacked like cruelly by the
Mm,
family online.
mm,
I mean, it was
God.
terrible. I mean, they even went as far to say we killed them, even though we have an autopsy report. It was terrible. I mean, slandered our name and so forth, and it was hurtful to me. And I think I kind of took it personal. And everybody say business is business, personal is personal. I took it personal because this is my baby, and I really really have a strong passion for what I do. I would never ever, allow harm on my watch. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? So to get that end of it, it was hard to deal with. And then I turned to another agency owner, and she told me, she said, Shantae, you ain't a real business. Ain't nobody tried to sue you yet, or if ain't nobody
Mm,
tried to bite your head off. She said that's what happens. So me being around her, she's older than me. She's a mentor to me. She's been in this business. And she said, when you leave out the house on Monday, because it happened, he passed on Saturday. Because I stayed in the house all day that day, all day Sunday. I was like really down. They were leaving Google reviews. So my phone is constantly ding, ding, ding. It was like very
what?
stressful. So she called me. She said, I heard about what happened. She said, when you walk out that house on Monday and you come to the office, you're going to hold your head up because you did the best that you could do. And that's it, Shantae. She said, you're not going to beat yourself up about it. And I don't want to hear this talk that you're thinking about leaving this field because you're not leaving this field. I needed that. At that moment, I needed her to call me and tell me that because I was just like, I'm over it. Like you give all you have and then people just wait to just tear you down. So
Mm,
when I left out that morning, I did exactly what she said. And then when I got to the office, I was just in awe. It was flowers all outside our door from other
wow.
providers, like, keep your head up, you're doing well. I got cards sent to me. It was just everything. And that let me know, like, you doing the right thing. Keep going. Don't let this one set of people, deter you from where you are supposed to be. So it's difficult all the way around the board. What I do, I would never say it's an easy job to do, and it's not for everybody, but it's worth it.
It's
It's great.
fulfilling. Mhm.
What, ladies, is your vision? Like, where do you see your business is going?
We gonna
Shantae, I'll let you start.
we gonna start in Capture, Ohio, okay? Because I just
Capture
moved to
Ohio, is
another
that what you
county. Yes, and we're
said?
gonna become the preferred provider in Ohio, and then we're gonna expand and go all over the United States.
Nice.
That's the goal. I've already moved to Fulton County. I'm in Fulton, Lucas, and Sandusky County in Ohio. So, in Henry County and Wyandotte. So I got 5 counties under my belt. So we just got to spread a little bit to Southern Ohio, and that's the goal. I just want to expand and expand and expand until how you guys think. Have you guys watched the show Empire?
I've
I
seen
When
haven't
it.
the
in a while. I've
when
seen it.
when they
Yeah, yeah,
came in
yeah.
and was like, "Oh, we're gonna make the company go public." You know how when you're doing really well, you start catching the eyes of other people.
Oh,
That's what
for
I want to
sure.
do. I want them to be like, "Oh my God, look at this! We want to be a part of this, or we want to know about this." Like that's the goal. See us on
Fulfilling.
billboards and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Dig it.
Um, I believe so strongly in women entrepreneurs. I just feel like I don't know, good, bad, right,
We rock.
wrong, like, right, we rock and we have to because we are usually juggling so much. We're the ones with the great ideas. I just feel so strongly. That's probably like totally politically incorrect to say, but I feel so strongly about women entrepreneurs and I just want to I think my vision is to help every single woman entrepreneur who wants to start a business, but also feels like maybe it's not the right time or called, back to parenthood. I'm a mother. April, I know you are too. I don't know, Shantae, if you are, but
I'm a mother of
that
three.
that parenthood, that calls you back or obligations to other people or a 9 to 5. Like my vision is to help every single woman who wants to start and grow and build their dream business and be a millionaire or not, or maybe it's, 100,000aire or whatever that looks like. That's what I want to do. I am right now thinking about some other ways that I can touch more entrepreneurs versus just the one-on-one coaching. And yeah, I wanna spread entrepreneurship far and wide as far as I can.
You know what? It's interesting because I seriously, I was talking to Jamar actually about this a little bit ago. It's this notion of a world that's actually driven from a place of love. It sounds so fluffy, but I'm so serious about it because I just think things would look so much different than they do today. It's like if we were like cared and loved our children, education would look so different, as an example. Like if we were all about our bodies, our health and wellness, food, the industry would look totally different.
Right.
And I really feel like women, or whoever it resonates with, I mean, but women, I feel like, are at the center of a lot of that kind of change and movement just because of where we are, right? Like we tend to be mothers and we're and the
Caregivers,
running
right.
our businesses, and we're
Right.
this is like the center of the wheel in so many ways that I feel like if
Mhm.
we could center ourselves in that place, I think we would drive so much change for the better. So that's me, and it's so great to hear you guys, especially hearing Shantae. You have 3 children. We all know that makes everything
Uh-huh.
so it's
That
great.
makes everything so much harder. I'm
Get in
sitting
the
here trying
background.
Speaking of, right?
Get in the background.
that makes everything so much harder.
Yeah.
Just right now, I'm trying to find a charger for my phone because I'm about to die on you guys.
Oh,
And
oh.
I got it.
That's happened.
Okay. So I'm plugged in, and it's crazy. I got it right. It literally says 0%.
1%. You're 1%.
I just typed it. So
What's really good to hear your visions. What are you guys working on now toward that? Oh, she froze.
Oh, I think she might be. We may have lost her.
Might have lost her.
We might have lost her.
Well, that's all. I will wrap it up then with you. What are you working on these days toward that vision that you shared?
The thing I'll come back to, and I won't steal this from you, but I don't know if you were going here. I do think it's important to know your why. Like I said, I don't want to steal that from you, but I think you had talked earlier about being motivated, like how to stay self-motivated and how to, get yourself through all of like the hiccups and the bumps and the da-da-das. I think knowing your why, having the vision, or I hope she comes back, having the vision, knowing what it is that you stand for, having values as a business and as a brand. If your bottom line, a lot of times I will start my very first, entrepreneurial coaching sessions with like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you in business? Why are you doing this? If the answer is money,
you're like, nope.
Not only nope, as in you and I are not going to be a good, fit for each other, but nope, your business isn't going to be successful. Like if the answer is, I just want to make money, or I want more money, or whatever it is, that's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough to motivate people to buy with you. You have to have a why. You have to have a story. You have to have something that makes people go, oh, wow, this is really interesting and I want to patronize. I mean, Shantae, I actually do have somebody in my family who, I'm not in Ohio, but if we were in Ohio, she's 100% somebody I would think of that this family member could work with. You know what I mean? Because she has a why. Oh, good. She's back. Okay, good. Yay.
I died.
We saw like, and then it froze.
We were just Shantae talking about our whys, like what gets you up in the morning. What is it that you're passionate about? Why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I think that's really important. But anyway, you were asking about, and Shantae, I'll let you come back to that too. But just to wrap up, you had asked about vision and what we were doing. Um, so, like I said, I have a couple of things that I'm kind of like working through, a couple of different types of packages, coaching packages. I think ultimately, and I don't think I'm wrong or I'll get side eyed for saying this. Like, ultimately, I want to work with more people with the time that I have, right? Like, time is finite. I mean, time is an illusion. We can go down that road too, but we won't today. But time is finite. So I only
That's a
have so
whole
many.
other show.
Right. Well, that's a different show. I only have so many hours in a day. And if I want this, grand goal of touching as many women entrepreneurs as I can, I have to start figuring out ways to work with more people in the time that I have. So those are the things that I'm looking towards. More group coaching. I do love the idea of masterminds, not only ours but others. I think it's really helpful for business
Yep.
growth. Um, so that's what I'm looking towards. Less one-on-one coaching and group more group coaching. That's my close near-term goal.
Got it. Awesome. How about you, Shantae?
Um, in
Well,
regards to my vision,
first, what
just
is your why? And then also, what are you working on now?
okay. Well, my why, my motivation has always been like my children. They rely on me, my children and my
Mm.
family. That's my main motivation. I do it because I just genuinely love helping people. Rather, I just found a way to get paid when I do it. Because, I mean, when I first started helping people for a living, I mean, I've been doing it before I ever got paid to do it. But um, as a social worker, I wasn't getting rich. Being a social worker, I just genuinely love helping people. So that's what pushes me. I'll always be helping in some form or fashion.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. My family and my children, they motivate me. They're my everything. And the reason I do it is because I love being helpful.
That's
I
good.
do.
So, what are you
Love
working
it.
on now?
Oh, I got a new building. So I am working on vocab. Vocab is a new service that we just got licensed for March 17th of this year. So now we get to employ people that have disabilities. So I get to put them
Hmm.
to work and
Great.
let them make some money. So
Yes.
we have all different type of skill building. I have skill building classes and stuff that I'm working on. So it's kind of like I'm putting together a whole little curriculum for our vocational program. I'm going jumping through hoops with the city, trying to get my building up and going for the certificate of occupancy. But that's my main goal right now is get the new building, the new day program and vocab up and going. I've already built the other sectors of the agency. So right now I'm working on day programming and yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Nice. Well, I have one last question for you. If you had advice to give to an up and coming entrepreneur, what would that advice be?
On me
For
or
somebody that is an up and coming new entrepreneur, somebody
um
who's just getting
don't
started.
give up. Don't give up. Don't give up and don't get distracted by life. Don't get distracted by life and there never will be a right time. So if you put off entrepreneurship, oh, I just had a baby, it's not a right time. Oh, I just wait till I get married. Oh, well, after a year at this job. If you do that, you're gonna look up and life
Never
pass
do it.
you by and you're
Yep.
never gonna do it. It's
That's true.
never, when I say it's never a right time, because
That's
when I
true.
threw myself into entrepreneurship, I was sitting there like, oh my God, like, that you got two children's birthdays are in December around Christmas time. How are you going to afford this? You're paying a mortgage here, you're paying a mortgage there. I was stretched very thin. I had to constantly, it was days where I went in the bathroom and just cried and was like, what did I do by leaving my job and
Right.
stepping out on this limb by myself? So you definitely have to keep the faith. But just when you feel like it's about to all fall apart, it's gonna all come together. And it's beautiful. It is. Like once
Mm.
you get there and you get to reap the benefits, like what I'm doing now, the salary that I made for my job, and I don't toot my own horn, that's a week.
Wow.
A week. So I'm not I'm not I'm not bragging or anything, but people
No,
need to know
brag.
that
Brag.
it is there. The hard work and the dedication will pay off.
Pays off.
You just have to stick with it. And I promise that's what's to it. That's what's to entrepreneurship, is being determined and not giving up. And it'll push through. Don't give up.
I love it. I have so many. As Shantae was talking, I was like, what do I could say about 16 different things here. I love my first thought was, I had a mentor one time tell me, erase all doubt. But Shantae took a lot of that, so I'm not going to take that away from her. I agree with everything that she just said. I think I would say, if I'm going to do one thing, maybe two. I have two. One is to stay coachable. I think it's so important to stay coachable. And
Absolutely.
We were talking earlier about humility and about, recognizing the things that you know and you don't know. One of the pitfalls, there are a lot of pitfalls to entrepreneurship. That's why it can be difficult to be successful. But one of them is thinking you know everything and can do everything and can master everything. And that is not the point of being an entrepreneur. Working in your own business is not that's not the point, right? You should be the owner. You should kind of be the head. You should be able to kind of delegate some things. So I say, stay coachable, know that there are things that you don't know that other people are experts in other things, and let them be the expert and kind of carry your business. Okay. Oh, there's so much. Okay. I guess the other thing I would say to somebody who's starting something brand new, because my storage business at the time was a really, really new, like tech-centered boutique concept. I would say to anybody who's doing something new or like not really been done before, to don't poo-poo an MVP, like I think it's a minimally viable product, meaning like, if you're not too sure about how it's going to go, and you need to stay flexible, put the minimum amount in and don't pour it all in. This is from personal experience, having poured everything into, a website. And then I'm like, oh, I don't like the website. We're pouring a lot of money into something else. And I'm like, that's not going to work. It ended up working out, but it's not the way that I would coach anybody else to do it. So embrace the MVP is probably my other piece of advice.
That's awesome. I mean, Shantae, I love your thoughts around just kind of go for it and it will work out. It reminds me of when you're pregnant, people are or when you're wanting to get pregnant, everybody's like, there's no good time to have a baby. And it's really true. It's like you're
right.
This
it's no good time.
It's kind of similar. So that was great advice. And your story, Antonia, around the staying coachable actually reminds me of something. I was in law school, and one of my law professors he would do his final exam where you got +1 points for getting an answer correct. You got 0 points if you didn't answer at all, and you got -2 if you answered it wrong. And his whole point was, if you know you don't know something, you can always find out. You can always go find the answer. But if you think you know it and you don't, that's kind of a bad situation.
I love that.
2 points if you answered you actually could pass that whole exam by answering not a single
nothing.
question. So I thought that was really good, and it reminded me of that when you shared that, and also knowing and trusting other people and being able to delegate. It's a personal problem that I have. I'm kind of a control freak, so
me too.
Yeah, so listening to that was the advice as well. It's like trusting other people to be experts in their field. So
sure.
You guys, I am so inspired by the two of you. I'm like, this is such a great conversation. I really appreciate your time and your inspiration and all that you have shared. I'm sure a lot of people are going to get a lot out of it. So
thanks for having us.
Of course.
And he's back.
He's back.
I'm back. That was amazing. That was an amazing podcast. You guys were very informative. It inspired me, like for real. Because even with doing podcasts, this business is new and scary at times when you grow. So I was inspired by all of you guys, and before we end it, if I could ask both of you two, and April will probably be mad at me, but to
Oh,
more or less ask April a question, if you may. Just something, whether it's about her business or whatever, what inspires her or something like that. Because I feel like with her being an entrepreneur also, she definitely can share insightful information to people just like you guys have.
Absolutely.
guys, I'm a newbie.
I because April, I know April's business so well. I'm going to ask April to talk a little bit more about Life and Lovely Things. I want I would love it if you told the audience about like the different iterations and some of the things that worked and some of the things that you're backing away from and where you are going.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, Life and Lovely Things, it was always like a kind of a, man, it's there. I just don't quite have exactly what this thing stands for, but I always knew I was very into writing and communicating with words in a lot of ways, and I wanted to do something around community gathering and this whole, it was fluffy for a while. And then I went through quite a bit of personal stuff over the last couple of months. And it sounds fluffy, but it's not. Like I found my way back to love, y'all. And I'm like, it really is the answer to everything. Like it just
Mhm.
really, really is. Um, these notions of self-love and really being compassionate with one another and what kindness looks like and what that looks like in actual real life. Like what does love look like for real? As we interact with our children and as we try to figure out places for them to be educated, and as we think about um, our daily rounds, like, is it just washing dishes, or am I going to elevate this to a place of I'm creating this organized, beautiful space where people can feel comfortable, for example, or am I setting a table for them, or I really just going to put myself into it and create a beautiful meal that's going to nourish the people at my table. I just think there are so many opportunities to elevate our lives if we're grounded in this place. And so as much trouble and chaos as I've gone through, I'm so grateful for it because I really feel like I went back to the beginning, something that I was in love with as a little kid. I am back in love with. It's like truly in love with love.
Mhm.
And so that's what the business is about. I am expanding it because Antonia knows this. I was doing a lot of writing and I love to write. That's not going anywhere, but I want to create like a platform and a community. And that would include possibly podcasting. We'll see what happens there. I'm claiming it. We're going to do it.
Hey.
We're going to do it.
I knew it. I told her once you get started with it, you're gonna fall in love with it,
There you
man.
go. So there's that. There's gonna be I did a lot of community events, and this was like bringing people together, mostly women, bringing them around together around these bigger themes that we could kind of dive into more deeply. So being in the moment, and I did a blindfolded dinner that was all about be here now and elevating your senses, and it was just fun stuff that was like, yeah, this is good. Like this is enriching. And I also have a background in brand strategy and brand marketing. And so I'd like to bring that to the table for people. I'm calling them love centered creators. So people who want to bring their work into the world, whether it be professionally or not even so much. I find that so much that's blocking people from bringing their work into the world is life stuff. It's like I'm unsure of myself. I'm scared to do
Right.
whatever. Or, I had a friend of mine say something like, my husband gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I feel like I have to too. And there was all this anxiety around it. And I've been there. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I gotta feel like I'm doing something. Stuff
Right.
like that just prevents people from truly bringing their hard work into the world. And again, it doesn't have to be professionally. I know stay-at-home moms that were beautiful, brilliant painters. So to the extent that I can help from a coaching standpoint, I'm a certified coach. So from a coaching standpoint, cool. If I can add brand strategy or some other inspiration to the mix, I'm happy to do that as well. So that's my vision, and that's what I'm going to be piecing through over the next, I don't know, lifetime.
I got a question from one of the people who was watching you guys on live, and Sid. I know April met Sid in Chicago. We were up there about about a few months back when we was up in Chicago, and Sid says wanted to ask about online resources. As far as for you guys, like, let me make sure I get it right because I don't want to get it wrong. But he was asking about you guys as far as online resources, and he had one more question. Let me make sure I get it right. And do you have a go-to client, or do you have a go-to client, or maybe even how you deal with finding go-to clients? Or I'm going to assume he's meaning more or less like online resources. And do you guys have a go-to client, or who is your, not even who, but as far as go-to clients for
Is
each?
it how do we get clients? Is that the thought?
Yeah, I would say he said online. What about online resources? He asked
Resources.
about. That's what he wanted to ask you guys about. And then he wanted to know about also the second question was, say, for example, with Shantae, is because of she's growing and growing so well that certain other, she has a go-to clients that constantly recommending or pushing people in her direction.
I got you.
Yeah. Or because of the work you do, Antonia, with helping people, do you get a lot of other clients always recommending more people to you? Yeah. So.
Shantae, you want, or yeah, I'll let
I
whoever
can
else
just dive
start.
in real quick on the.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say my online resources then back out. But the site that I use, website development that I use is Squarespace. I adore Squarespace because it is so ding dang simple. Like it's just really easy, and I'm not very techie, and it will create something beautiful for you without a whole lot of like needing to know code and that kind of thing. So I love that platform, and it's also very inclusive. So you can do like email in there. You can do, I mean, it's like an umbrella kind of platform. And then Canva, Jamar, we talked a little bit about that. I use that a lot
That's
for
a good one.
creative resources and putting together different types of creative for different platforms. So that's a good one as well. Oh, one
That's a
other
great
one,
one.
Unsplash has all kinds
Yes.
of those too. So that's a really
Yes. Okay, April.
Unsplash?
I like
yeah,
it.
Unsplash.
I'm
Yeah.
learning stuff because I don't know
Yeah.
anything.
Unsplash is
Oh,
great.
girl, it's the best. It'll change
Yeah.
your life. It's like
Yeah.
thousands, I mean, the hundreds of thousands of free photos
Yes.
that you can just use. So
Oh,
There are a few sites like that. Pexels is another
yeah,
one, royalty free.
Pexels, you said? Oh,
Pexels.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard of that one. Pexels.
There are a few. Yeah. Oh, I'm a big fan. Nice. Yeah, Canva's great too.
I'm not
Canva
the
is,
marketing person. I hire someone to do that.
see,
There you go. Very
knowing what you're good,
good for
knowing
you.
where you shine and where you
For
hire
you.
somebody else.
We have a website that I did not create. All our marketing stuff. My business guy that I go to, that's what he do. It's called Base Results. So you tell him what you want your business to do, and he makes it happen.
I
Love
love
So
it.
it.
I sat with him and I said, I need a human research. I need a handbook. I need a website. And he put me with his chief. What did he call her? A chief market strategist.
Nice.
She took it from there and she did all my stuff for me. So yes, we have a website, but I don't really have like resources that I use in regards to being online. We're online, but via website that I didn't make. I don't know nothing about that
I love it.
stuff.
I I swear I am not techie at all, but my website is based off of WordPress. Um, pretty much built from scratch. This is my daughter now. Hi, Stella. Pretty much built from scratch because for me, it was important that at least I felt like I learned how to build my own website so that when something went wrong, I wasn't reaching back to somebody, or I had just at least a little bit of knowledge. So I use WordPress. I use ConvertKit for emails, for email marketing. Um, I use, oh, I can't think of the name. I have a quiz. I can't think of the name right now. It's blanking. But I use another website to kind of create a lead magnet, which is a quiz. A lead magnet being like a way for me to get email addresses from people so I can add to my email list. So those are my
For email.
MailChimp's a good one. MailChimp you can get even free, I think.
Yeah, I think the first 2,000.
I think MailChimp is free for the first 10,000. ConvertKit is not. So I'm not saying everything is for everyone. Everything is not for everyone. Everything is not for everyone. And then sure, I would say most of my business is on referral. I won't speak for anybody else. Most of my business is on referral. Most of my storage business is on referral as well. It is so much easier, and I'm such a proponent for nurturing and getting referrals and nurturing the clients that you have, because it's so much cheaper to get new clients that way than actually trying to go out and market and advertise. And I mean, you can put a lot of money into advertising and maybe convert just a few people. So I am a big proponent of nurturing your clients so that they love you so much that they tell other people about you.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Well, that is dope. April, I want to tell you did an amazing job. You ladies also an amazing guest and very informative and knowledgeable. And I'll probably be like sending my resume to Shantae so I can get a job. Because no.
Come on. We hiring.
I always try to push my fiance, like, you need to go ahead and get with Shantae, when she
needs to. She is bomb. Like, she is bomb. She's so driven. I set aside her for the years that I was at the agency. And listen, like I told her, when she got the time, I got the time, because I know for a fact, like, entrepreneurship, she could tackle it like with no problem. His fiance is amazing. She's like double major. She is like a nurse and a social worker. Do you know how marketable that is and what she could do with that? Like,
she'll want to be great. I'll be telling her, like, you want to be great.
I be trying to pull people in on this side. When I talk to her, I be like, you can do it. Come on, come over here. You can do it.
Yeah, she doesn't like change, so she's always afraid of change. That's like her biggest thing is change with anything. But
we're both Capricorn, so we're there together. I get it.
This was an amazing experience, April. I told you, once you take a bite, you gonna get the bug, and it's not gonna let you go. But all of y'all were amazing. I want to thank you all for coming on Product of the 80's podcast, because you ladies coming on is part of helping my dream and what I'm building grow, and I'm very appreciative of it. And it's just great. It's coming from a man, being a man who was raised by a strong Black woman. It is so dope and so endearing, like so real to see like strong women, Black sisters out there. Do strong women, period, but strong Black women just hits different and harder when you get to be around it and you get to witness it and get encouraged by it. So I'm encouraged, and I leave here like excited, and hopefully get to hear more and watch you all continue to grow. So thank you very much. And is there anything you want to say? Do you want to shout out your websites or anything like that you have that you want to share to any of the listeners before we go?
I would say my website, if you want me to, is www.gmhealthcareservices.com. Check us out. That's G as in George, M as in Mitchell. The business is started after my father, so I call it G&M Healthcare Services. Yes, check us out, and give us some feedback. Send me a message. Anything. Come apply. We need help.
Antonio, you have anything?
Yep, my website is wakecoffeeslay.com, wakecoffeeslay.com. And you can email me at antonia@wakecoffeeslay.com. And I offer lots of advice there for new aspiring business owners, even business owners who have been in it for a minute and are like, I'm feeling stuck, or I'm not really sure how to get over a particular hump. That's my blog there.
This guy right. Well, I thank you very much. April, you want to go ahead and start out?
Yeah, absolutely. Mine is lifeandlovelythings.com. It's the new site should be rolled out next week, but you can still contact me through that page. It's just got a contact on it right now. And you can email me, same thing, April@lifeandlovelythings.com.
Life and Lovely Things. Dope. Yep. Well, I thank you all. I guess one viewer, I have to show this because they kept asking me over and over again. But this one guy, he won't show who he is, but it's
Shantae Mary. It's Shantae Mary.
not married.
So he was asking like, yo, you had a fan. So I don't know, but I thank you all very much.
But no, I'm not married.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Black V. This is Product of the 80s, and God bless you all. A good night.
Thank you
Bye.
for having me. Bye.